What's up, Daniel?
This just in. Mike Yastrzemski's younger brother signed by Farhan. He's only 29. He hasn't played baseball in 10 years, but what does that matter? He's Mike Yastrzemski's brother.
Exactly.
We got what was the other guy's Pincher or Penchy or
Chase Pinder.
Pinder. Okay, Pinder. Is that like Tinder
right.
or is that the same as Tinder?
Yeah, Chicken Pinder. All right, there you go.
Okay.
Former A's pitcher.
Farhan gets Chad Pinder's brother on Tinder. Okay. There we go. Hey, welcome. NorCal Sports Network, everybody. Dan Cochimilio, Eric Romo, military history guru, Chronicles up there on the top corner and in the middle, down below. Los D, back fresh from his trip to the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
This show is sponsored by Secure Money and Flex Funding. That's right. Secure Money. You want your money secure in tough times like right now?
Yeah,
Don't
ain't that
want
the
to
truth?
lose your money in the stock market like a lot of people have done? Give me a call. 925-628-9966. And you need some money as far as out of your house, maybe, or your family member needs money out of the house, call Flex Funding. Carlos, right there, 925-250-4894.
We do personal loans as well. Nothing
Personal loans
for the mortgage. You need money. Bottom line, let me know.
Yeah, you need money. Now, if you were working with me, you probably wouldn't need money because I'd be making you money. But since you're not working with me yet, call Los. He'll get you some money, and then maybe I'll make it double. How's that?
Dan will put me out of business if too many people are with him, but go with him anyway.
All right, so here we go.
Yep. What's up, Tom? What's up, Aaron? What's up, guys?
So we got Niners talk. We got Giants talk. We may even have a little Warriors talk. Where do you guys want to start?
It don't matter to me. Wherever you guys want to go.
It don't matter to me.
We can knock Giants and baseball out of the way.
All right. It's baseball season just ended. Bruce Bochy wins his 4th title. Saw something today that only a few other managers have had 4 or more. And you know what's ironic? What's not ironic, but what's amazing is Connie Mack led the way with 7. Or was it Connie Mack? And Joe McCarthy was up there with like 5. Casey Stengel, I think, had 5. I wish I could find the graphic, but I comment on it. You know, back then those guys won 5, 6, 7 titles, whatever. There was 15, 16 teams in the entire league.
Right.
Some in the early 1900s, probably like 12.
Exactly.
Teams.
Now you got 30.
Boch has done it with 30 all 5 times or 4 times. That's a hell of a lot harder to do. And you got to win a lot more series. You know, when you won the World Series back then, you won your league with
and then you went to the World Series.
7 teams, and you went to the World Series.
Yep.
And you won basically one round of playoffs, the World Series. You're instantly in it. Come on. What Bochy's done is absolutely remarkable, and in my opinion is the top feat of any manager all time. You're winning.
You're here. I agree.
You're winning a minimum of 3 series to win the World Series, and in a couple of cases, he had to win 4 series.
Right, with the wild card.
He won the wild card in 14, and he won the wild card this year.
Yep.
And he had to. Yeah. So yes, it's easier to make the playoffs in some ways because 6 teams make the playoffs out of 15, where before it was 1 out of 8. So 1/8.
Would you say this year was probably the toughest year because they had to go first? They had to try to win a division in Seattle. Then they had to travel to Tampa Bay. Then they had to go up to Baltimore.
Oh yeah, I definitely think it's tough. Hey, and it's interesting, and I heard this from, got to give credit. I tweeted it out, but it's credit to Mark Graves. They were 11-0 on the road. So would you call them road warriors?
Yeah, there you
Road
go.
warriors, 11-0.
I
Listen
like
to
that.
this. First series, they beat the Rays. Spell that. That's an R, right?
Yep.
Next series, they beat the Orioles. That's an O. The next series, they beat the Astros. ROA. And wouldn't you know it, they beat the Diamondbacks. D. Road.
Oh, what a trip!
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, yeah. How ironic is that? I mean, that's almost, what are the odds of that?
Yeah, not very
You
much.
go 11-0 on the road, and the
You're the
four
road
teams
warrior,
you
yeah.
beat, their acronym spells road.
It's pretty awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
Way to go, Mark. Nice.
That could be an interesting topic that we start the show with, is discussing Bochy, where he is on the greatest managers of all time list. We could talk about some of those other managers and what they had to go through, their era, how they led men, their ability to strategize, because I think that was something that managers did more back in the day. There
True.
was obviously less bench help, less, assistant coaches, so to speak, to like, hey, what do you think we should do here? Like the managers back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I think were more, no, this is my call, I'm going to make it. And that's, of course they had pitching coaches and hitting coaches, but nothing like today where they have a lot more help. The game was more strategized. So,
and would you say managers back then, they had to deal with a lot stronger personalities than they do here today? It seems that they're a little bit more, not as crazy. Back in the day, the players were pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Billy Martin had to deal with a very egotistical Reggie Jackson, but Billy Martin had his own ego, so that's why they clashed.
Yeah.
And Billy Martin also had to answer to George Steinbrenner, who was about as demanding as an owner as possible. So Billy Martin is one manager that comes to mind. Earl Weaver is another manager.
Mm-hmm.
Connie Mack, if you want to go really far back.
Yeah.
Tommy Lasorda's you got to put him up there. He's more of a cheerleader. I don't know if he's more of a strategy guy, but he'd be the first guy to hug you if you pitched a complete game or hit a home run, and not wait till you got to the dugout right there at home plate. What other managers come to mind, Dan?
Tony La Russa.
La Russa's definitely up there as a very respected manager.
Joe Torre.
If Dusty Baker won,
Joe Torre.
Joe Torre. Like, if you put Bruce Bochy over Joe Torre, I don't know.
How many's Torre won? 3 or 4?
I think he's won 4, right?
He won 3 in a row. I know that. I think he won, 96?
Torre may have won 5, because how many did Jeter win?
Oh, got a few people in there. Bobby Cox, that's another one. Yeah.
Bobby. Yeah, he's got 1 title. I think.
But he had a lot of great teams too, though.
He did, and that's what might knock him down a little bit, is he had great teams and only could win it once. See, Bochy, what puts him up there is the 2010 Giants were not the most talented team in that tournament.
True.
By far, they were not. The 2012 team, that was probably a little bit better team. 14, he just rode Bumgarner to that title. He was just a monster. This team, I mean, what really cements Bochy probably in the top 5 for sure is this Texas team was not too much different last year. They had, give or take a few more pieces, but
right.
I don't know what their record was, but I think they lost
68 or something. They are like 90.
They lost 90 games, or close to it. And he came in, and he's just a natural leader. He is. His players respect him, and he just leads by example. He's soft-spoken. Kind of reminds me a little bit, I know it's a different sport, of John Madden. He doesn't have many rules. It's just play hard for me.
Exactly.
The guys show up on time, play hard when you're supposed to, play the game the right way, respect the game, don't get in trouble outside of the clubhouse, and let's play ball. So,
and I tell you another thing too, Blows. Me and Dan brought this up. As a matter of fact, Dan brought it up first. You see all these managers, right? What do you always see in their hands? Papers, all this other crap. When you see Bochy in the dugout, what do you see over there? He's just sitting on the bench watching the game. Doesn't have anything in his hand. Everything's in his head. I just think he's one of the greatest managers ever. I mean, you can't, the top 5 easy, probably maybe top 3.
Well, I mean, it's so refreshing. I mean, we always talk about on the show about how we dislike too much analytics and too much computerization. And it's, if this is in fact a copycat league, that maybe the league will take a step back and think, okay, analytics is important, but just as equally as important is the leader of our team having hunches, going with his gut, keeping a guy in, maybe because that's what he did in the World Series. He kept guys in that, if that was Farhan and Kapler in the same situation.
Exactly.
And he hit pitch count 80 or 90, that's it.
Done.
I mean, Bochy is a catcher, and that's why I love catchers as managers, because Bochy probably every inning would go to his catcher and say, what does this stuff look like? Don't go to the pitcher, because the pitcher is going to want to stay in. Go to the catcher and have an honest answer. Is the slider still snapping? Is his curve still breaking off? Does he have movement on his fastball? And if the catcher says, he's kind of losing it, then, you make the right decision. And that's just old school verbal communication. How
about the faith in his players? He had his rookie in there who's only been in the major leagues for what was it, a month? In Evan Carter? Even if they're facing lefties, Evan Carter was penciled into the game every single time.
Loved it.
Yeah, exactly. And he got hits. I mean, Evan Carter had a great World Series. So he he knows. I mean, I'm talking about Bochy. He sees a guy that's had success. So why would I ruin that? Keep throwing them out there.
We can talk about analytics and statistics all we want. But there is nothing as powerful as knowing your manager, your general manager, and your coaching staff have confidence in you.
Yes.
Especially when you're a young player. To have that confidence. Like, I know they're bringing in a lefty. I'm not going to pinch hit for you. Go and figure it out.
Yep.
And maybe he doesn't get a hit that time, but knowing that your manager has your back I don't care how many millions of dollars you're making. That's huge for you to want to go to bat and run through a wall for your manager. So I love it. I love it that he won.
And now look what we got now. Now we got, God, I'm just going to wind up pissing me off starting to talk about Farhan. It's going to do it. I know it's going to do it. Last year, what did we hear in the offseason? What did we hear last year? We're going to get more athletic. We're going to get young. What does he say?
Better defensively up the middle, too.
Yeah, better defensively up the middle. What does he say here at the general meetings, in the kickoff of the general meeting? We're going to get younger and we're going to get more athletic. I'm getting tired of it, guys. I'm getting tired. We're getting lied to. You can see it. And then you sign Cobb. How the guy has one good leg, right? He's 35 years old. He's got one good leg, and you're going to sign him to $10 million? He's not even going to pitch half the season. And you're going to spend $10 million.
The amount of money that Farhan and his decisions is astronomically, it's ridiculous. And he gets an extension of 3 years. Listen to this. He signs Manaea and Stripling for $12.5 million each.
Yep.
And Conforto for $18 million each per year for 2 years. They each get an opt-out. All right, so let's look at this. There's a few things that can happen when you do that. One, you could get really good production out of them, and it could help your team win. Two, you could get really good production out of them, and your team's not winning, and they have trade value.
Mm-hmm.
Three, you can not get very good production, and your team doesn't do well, and you're stuck with them.
Yep.
Or you can, as I said, the other option, the fourth option is you can get decent production out of them, and your team doesn't do well, and you don't do anything. So listen to the options that Farhan chose. Manaea gave him what I would consider decent year for a left-handed pitcher. They're valuable. They're more valuable than right-handers. Let's just face it. There's not as many of them, and Manaea pitched well the last couple of months.
True.
I would even say he pitched pretty well once they went to the bullpen, had a couple of rough spots, but even before the All-Star break. And what did we say at the All-Star break? Pitching is premium. And Farhan even said it himself. Well, I guess to get a fourth or fifth starter, I would have had to give up, half the farm. Well, yeah, why didn't you get somebody else's half the farm for your fourth or fifth? You had Manaea, you had Stripling, you had Wood, you had Junis, you had a plethora of 4 and 5 starters, but you didn't start them. You started 2 guys, Webb and Cobb. The rest were openers.
Yep.
You screwed up your entire franchise. So what do you get now? You got Manaea, who had a decent year, and you didn't get anything for him. He's gone. He opted out. He says, I'm gone. $12.5 million. I can probably get more. If I don't, at least I know I'm going to go somewhere and start. I'm not going to play this Mickey Mouse roller coaster. Don't know if I'm starting or if I'm coming in the 2nd inning or the 5th inning. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I know one thing. I'm out of here. Okay, so that's Sean Manaea. Now, the other option was, remember option 2 is, I think it was option 2, you could have a crappy year and and you're stuck with them. You're stuck with Conforto and Stripling. They're coming back. And you owe them $30 million combined. You owe Anthony DeSclafani another $12 million, and you owe Alex Cobb $10 million. What is that? 30 plus 12, that's 42. $52 million locked up in 4 guys. And I think I can add another one. Who else is in there that's how about Haniger?
Alex Wood.
He's gone. How about Haniger? How much they owe Haniger next year? Like 12, 15?
12 or 13. 12 or 13.
Okay, 13. So you're at $64, $65 million with 5 mediocre players.
Yep.
5. Let's count them. 1, Haniger. 2, Conforto. 3, Stripling. 4, who was the 4th one? DeSclafani.
DeSclafani.
And 5, Cobb's not – he's good, but he's going to be hurt. So
he's going to be done.
Yeah, so good job, Farhan. $65 million. You could have parlayed that into 2 superstars.
Yeah. And this is supposed to be the genius. This is what's just
2 superstars or 3. How about 2 superstars and probably a really a pretty good third person? I mean, $65 million. If you spent $25 million on per year on a couple of guys, that's star money. Okay. 30 plus million, you're talking superstar money.
Yep.
And he's got 65 million tied up into guys that are washed.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Do you think all agents that represent every player pretty much, when they talk up to the Giants, they almost insist on that option year? We're not gonna. I'm just kind of thinking behind the scenes. My talent, my player does not want to come here, but if you throw in an option year, he will. And does that force Farhan to have to give that up? I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Is that possible?
It may be because hey, it's out. I mean, if Farhan wants to get anybody, I mean, if I'm an agent. Oh man, I'm dangling that carrot in front of him every time.
Yeah, he's done it.
You know what?
Got a reputation for it, so they're taking.
Yeah, I ain't coming back. Hey, but you know what? Let's extend the guy for 3 years because you know what? We believe in him. Can wait? Let me put these glasses on.
Don't do
it. Jeez.
And you know what's funny? We're going into free agency, right? Farhan ain't going to do nothing in free agency. First off, how do you market this team? Hey, come join the Giants where we're 4th in the NL West. Yeah, there you go. We'll give you a bunch of money, but yeah, we're 4th in the NL West, and we ain't going to be going anywhere for.
Hey, I put out my predictions for next year, ranking them. If 1 being 1, the top seed, all the way to 15. Now, and I can't remember it exactly. I'd have to look it up, but this is preliminary. I'll do another one in March when the rosters, spring training are set. It may be completely different, and I'll judge Farhan at that point. But right now, I'm judging him based on his record. I've got the Giants sitting around 13th out of 15 clubs. Let me tell you where I've got 1. I've got the Braves. 2, I got the Dodgers. 3, I got the Phillies. No, 3, I had the Cubs because I think seeded wise, I think they'll win the Central with Greg Counsell. I think they mean business. You're not going to sign Greg Counsell and be sit on your butts.
Nope.
In
They're
the
going
winter.
for it.
You're going for it. Okay, you're paying Greg Counsell $8 million a year.
Exactly.
Okay, so they're going for it, and Greg Counsell has proven he proved himself with Milwaukee. He was in it almost every year except 22. He didn't make it, but he made the playoffs almost. And Milwaukee is not the market that Chicago. Chicago has a lot more money, and Milwaukee's like a small market team, and look what he did for them. Okay, so I've got the Cubs 3, 4. I think I put the Phillies because they'll be the first wild card again. I believe. I don't think they can beat the Braves in the division. Flop them. They're going 5. I think I put the Diamondbacks. Yeah.
Okay.
And 6, I think St. Louis is going to make a bounce back year. They don't have back-to-back years, horrible years in that organization.
Right.
And they didn't trade away Arenado or Goldschmidt, which
They
means
still got them. Yep.
they're going for it. They believe they just had a down year. I think St. Louis somehow learns it's a winning franchise. They'll bounce back. And then 7th, I have San Diego just on the outside looking in. And they could make it. You could flip San Diego with one of those other teams, Arizona.
Too much talent not to succeed.
Yeah, they're going to be right there. 8, I've got, and I'm serious. I was trying to put the Giants in the top 8 or 9. And then as I kept doing it, I was like, shoot, these guys are better. These guys are better. These guys are better. I got Cincinnati. I can't remember where I had, but Cincinnati's up and coming. They're fast. They got speed. They're young. They can hit the ball. So I think they're better. Milwaukee's better. Always going to be better. Based on the rosters right now, it's pathetic. Okay, who else is better? I think Miami's going to be better. I think the Mets are going to improve. They got money to spend. The Mets could be one of the top 6 teams next year because they're going after Yamamoto and Ohtani. They're going to go spend big because that's why they got rid of Verlander and
yes, they did. And Scherzer.
And Scherzer. They offloaded. I know they're paying some of that money, but the guy's going to spend. You're not going to stop a guy like that. That's like trying to stop me from tying my hands behind my back and saying I can't make any fantasy trades. Okay, it's just going to. I'm going to make trades. Okay. That's my nature. I'm going to make trades. In fact, I may make a trade right while we're on this show here because I've got 2 hours and 15 minutes before midnight here in Arizona and waiver wires hit. And I need to move some stuff. And so anybody listening in the show that's in the league, let's get a deal done here. All right. So, who else did I put up there? Pittsburgh is a team that could beat the Giants out, possibly. I don't think they will.
That's not crazy.
I had Washington. Actually, I had Washington one spot because Washington hit last year. Remember how good they hit? And they're getting younger. They're getting better, okay? These teams are getting better. The Giants are going the wrong direction. You know what? Love Bob Melvin. Love the signing. Think Bob Melvin's going to be – is a great manager, but you can only, what's that saying? You can only make lemonade with lemon or whatever. Well, there's some kind of food saying you can make. Yeah. You can't make something out of chopped liver. I don't know what it is, but the Giants suck right now. As far as I'm just being frank. Yeah, they suck. Look at the outfield. Look at the outfield. It's coming back. Right now.
It's the same outfield.
Okay, all right. The outfield is this: Slater, Yaz, Conforto, Haniger, and who
Matos,
else?
Maybe.
Who I don't know, but when you have a team like that, And every GM that's smart, that's got good talent, is like, you want to give me that?
Exactly. What kind of exactly?
You want to give me that? Okay. You want who? Okay, we'll start the conversation with Kyle Harrison.
Yep.
Casey Schmidt, Patrick
Luciano?
Bailey, Luciano. There, what does Farhan have to deal? He's going to have to deal some of his top talent to probably get aging stars that are on the backside of their career, like
Please
Mike Trout.
don't do that.
That's
Please
and we
don't.
welcome in the thief, the Jonathan Taylor thief.
Yep.
Man, that was a good move. That was a good move.
Pretty good move. 2 wins in a row, stacking up wins.
Look at that.
You're
Look
done.
at that.
Who are you playing this week?
I don't know. It's a tough question. I might have to check. No.
All this happened once he turned 19. It was the 18.
Exactly. Yep.
The 18
exactly,
and 19.
yeah.
Gotcha.
They got
Gotcha.
the
the
fans
leap.
in college. Like,
Have you
Yeah.
got 2 wins since you were 19? Both wins since you were 19, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
but
Let's change
guys,
your name to 2005. Make you 18 again.
how bad must it have been for Bob Melvin and the GM in San Diego? Like, he left the team that has so much.
No.
San Diego's I love San Francisco. I'm a native there, but San Diego's a beautiful place to live and a lot of talent. And you left there for the Giants and what they got going, and Farhan is your boss. Like, it must have really been bad.
Honestly, that's going to be the biggest signing of the offseason is just
Yeah,
Bob
but
Melvin.
he has no idea. Has he ever worked with Farhan before? With the
Oakland.
Yeah,
Oakland.
Oakland.
I think
Also,
yeah.
he's familiar with him, so maybe he can put up with all his little weirdness. I don't know.
Here's a question for you guys. Where would you rank Farhan in terms of GMs in the MLB?
What has he done?
I don't know all the GMs, but he's
Right.
definitely, if you did tiers of I'd like to do tiers. Okay. 3 tiers of 3 or 10 tiers of 3. There's 30 teams. Like the National League, I did, tier 1 would be the Braves, Dodgers, and in my opinion, the Cubs or Phillies. But I think, based on the teams that get the number 1 seed, I'm going to put the Cubs because I predict they'll win the Central. But tier 2, would be your 4, 5, and 6. Tier 3 would be 7, 8, 9. Tier 4, 10, 11, 12. Tier 5, 13th, 14th, 15th. I had the Giants in tier 5, 13th. They could make it into tier 4. I don't think they go any higher than tier 4 next year. I think they're 10, 11, 12, or 9, 10, 11, or 12. No, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, or 15. I had them in the beginning of tier 5. They could make it into tier 4. I don't see them going higher than that unless we'll see at this point. I mean, Farhan could prove me wrong, and I would love it if the Giants, if he got aggressive and just make some moves. But, his philosophy, he's got to pick a philosophy. In my opinion, he should have chose the path of youth and just started it. If he would have started it 3 years ago.
Yep.
After the, 21 is going to turn out to be the worst thing that happened to the Giants because I think 21 is going to set them back for years because they think, oh, well, we were right in it, So 22 and 23, Farhan signed he was brought in to change the game of the Giants because the Giants were behind the times in analytics, and Farhan was all about the launch angle and, the analytics. And so he comes in. And what has happened now? The game switched back to the way it was meant to be, speed and athleticism and contact hitting. All right. Giants lack contact hitters. Giants lack speed, and they lack defense. How's Farhan going to fix it all? It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
So where would I have Farhan? I don't know all the 30 GMs, but if I did him in tiers of 3, there's 10 tiers. I wouldn't have him any higher than the 8th tier.
Yep.
There's got to be somebody.
Did he win Executive of the Year in 21?
He did.
He did.
There's got to be some worse GMs, but I
Well,
don't know.
What do you guys think of Preller in San Diego? Because I mean, he spends, he gets free agents. It's just his team hasn't really
Preller's
exceeded
run
expectations.
through. He's run through a lot of managers.
That's a valid point. We have one GM that spends like crazy, and those are legitimate, like proven talent. And somehow, some way, it did not work. They basically had the same record as the Giants. In fact, they barely passed them towards the end of the year. And then you have Farhan and his dollar store discount shopping, and they almost had the same record. So, I mean, if we're really being real here, the GM for San Diego, based on last year, didn't do that great of a job. I mean, he did his job. But again, like I always bring this up, I don't care what sport it is. When do we hold players accountable? When?
True. And then you know what? But there's more to this as well, because let's take a look at Texas. You have a good manager, you have a good GM, and you have a good owner. So when you have leadership in all three of those areas, you're going to have a team that's going to produce, because everyone's on the same wavelength. Everyone knows what needs to be accomplished. Baseball is not a cheap sport. They know that you got to spend money, but you don't spend money like a freaking
that leads
sailor.
Perfectly right into this good segue into this the super chat from Glass Half Full, who donates $4.99. Thank you, Glass Half Full. He says, "Can you explain why Greg Johnson meant what he meant when he said Farhan had done a good job? Winning the division once in 5 years is good."
I can answer that. He said Farhan's doing a good job. He left it at that. In his mind, a good job, the definition is he's putting money in the owner's pocket.
Yep.
He's making a profit. That's what he means. He's doing a good job.
Yep.
Greg Johnson and the rest of the owners, we've talked about it. Winning is not on their top priority. They can say it all they want, but
actions speak louder than words. And you know what?
He's doing a good job at putting money in our pocket. We're making our, what do they say, 4 to 5%.
The 4%, yeah, Dieter.
Yeah. And you know, last night the Warriors were yesterday awarded the All-Star game in 2025 at Chase Center. So a year from, well, next season basically, but it'll be during the 25 calendar year. So, and they were talking about how the Warriors, Monty Poole was interviewing them, and how the Warriors, what's the difference between the last time there was an All-Star game in the Bay Area, which was 2000, versus now. And Adam Silver said something very interesting. He said, based on ownership, it's the teams that really know how to treat people really well and are first class in their approach to the organization that seem to be, and that's why he's not surprised that the Warriors have been winning. And he attributed it to, you know, basically the fact that they do things in a first class manner. They spend money. They treat people well. I mean, you think about the Giants.
What the Niners won for so many years.
Yeah, exactly. Money. You look at the Giants. People could say this organization. I believe under Sabian and Coletti and Sabian and Evans that they had that mantra of treating people well, professionally, like family, and that's why, you know, the Giants were close knit. This team under Farhan, the way these guys are treated up and down, in and out of the lineup, you think people like that?
Nope.
Hell no. And you know what? These players talk, and these players don't want any part that are good. Good players are not going to be treated that way. Okay? They're just not. It's just like, you know, it's just like strong people, right? That have good self-esteem. They don't get walked on. They don't put up with it. Okay? You might get it. You might happen to you in your life, and then you learn. Okay, never again. I'm not getting walked on. Okay? So I respect myself too much to allow you to walk on me. The Giants, Farhan treats these players, just treating them like they're not even human beings, with these, you know, hey, come on up here. We heard it from Stripling when he said he went to Sacramento, and he's quoted as saying, I don't know where I'm supposed to be. And they send me to Sacramento, and then I'm walking into the stadium, and they tell me, hey, we might need you down here in San Diego. And he's like, I drove all the way up here. Can I pitch 3 innings, please? They just have no, because Farhan doesn't, he's not played the game. He's not a scout. He doesn't understand it. So he just treats these guys like they're, property in Monopoly. I'll take 2 houses and I'll give me this and give me this and I pass go, give me $200. Hey, these guys are people. They've got families. They like to plan. Your pitching staff likes to know what they're going to do after they pitch a game. Are they going to be, 4 days from now? What's the routine? These guys had no clue. And don't tell me it was all Kapler. It wasn't.
No.
There's no way that was all Kapler. That was 90% Farhan, I believe.
Yeah, and Eric, you brought up a good point when you were talking about leadership, because that Padres team last year, it didn't have much leadership from the GM, the ownership, or the manager. It was a pretty player-led team.
Yep.
And I think that sort of team and that sort of philosophy can go well, but it can also go bad, and that's what happened to the Padres last year.
And you know what? The Giants are kind of dissimilar, where the players ran the show. The only difference is our level of players sucked. The Padres had a little bit better talent.
Exactly, because is Bob Melvin really that leader who's gonna turn around this franchise? I don't know. He could be, maybe, but I don't know. You saw look at the Rangers, right? The Rangers had so many losing seasons. They lost like 90 plus games.
94 last year.
94 last year. And boom, it wasn't just Bochy, but bringing in Bochy has a big impact. He brings him in and they win the World Series. So leadership is super important. And the Giants didn't have it last year. Kapler's not a leader. Farhan's not a leader.
Nope.
There's no leadership from the ownership. Those are the 3 pillars to have leadership. And the Giants didn't have anything last year. This year could be different. Melvin could develop into a leader for the team, and I would like that. But we really don't know. Farhan's not a leader. He's not a leader. He's not stable. Greg Johnson isn't a leader. He's just all about the paycheck.
That's why it's not going to attract other talent.
Exactly. Bob Melvin is really he could be the turning point in the team, or he could just be another ride along.
Every owner, by the way, Will, that is correct, but there is one different thing. When I take a trade from somebody, and even if they don't have a stop in to the lineup for the first game, I do treat them with dignity and class. I feed them well. I take care of their flights. I get their wives and kids all gifts. My team is well taken care of. And they
before they leave, he sets them up with a secure money account.
That's right. I set them up with a secure money account.
They're set for life.
That's right. And if I win the league, guess what? They will all get a share of the pie. Okay. So there we go.
Guys, one thing I want to say about Melvin, I like him. I don't love him. I'll be honest. He strikes me as a guy that does better with a team full of veterans. I don't know if he can relate to young guys. I could be wrong there, but
they didn't do the greatest with this year at least. Last year he did pretty good with San Diego.
What's funny about managers? Like, they always think that a younger manager will connect more with younger players, and it's kind of like not true all the time. It just depends upon a personality. Bochy's an older guy. Dusty Baker's an older guy, but they have the genuine personality about them and the straightforwardness about them and the energy about them, especially with Dusty, that, a younger guy has. So it's not just about having a younger manager for a younger team. I think Melvin is in his 50s?
Bob is
No,
61.
62, right?
He's in
61. And he just turned 62, I believe. He just had a birthday a week ago. We're trying to get him on the show, actually. We've reached out to him through my brother, and who knows Bob very well, and Cal alums. And we'll see if we can get Bob on the show. It'd be really good.
Is his coaching staff already been pretty much?
I haven't heard anything.
Haven't
I haven't
heard
even heard
nothing
Matt
yet.
Williams announce. I haven't heard nothing on the staff.
Is
I would
pitching-
imagine we'll start hearing things in the next week or so. The GM meeting started officially today.
When does free agency
gotcha.
actually start?
It started.
It
You
started.
can sign people right
Okay.
now.
Let me
You can sign people right now. And this is where you watch. The first signing will be somebody, first big signing that happens will be Texas, San Diego, Philadelphia,
Yankees.
Yankees. It's going to be somebody who's aggressive. Okay. It's not going to be Farhan. Okay. Farhan is
That's
going to
sick.
take this whole approach.
He just waits for leftovers. He does not step up.
He doesn't lead. He doesn't lead by example. If he was
Yeah.
a leader, he would go out there and make a signing right now. Be the first one to make the signing. Set the market.
Is Yamamoto been posted? Have we
Yes,
heard?
he's been posted.
Okay. I'd have him signed today. You know what? If I was running this show, I would have Yamamoto signed.
And matter of
And,
fact,
you
I
know-
think it was the same guy, John Morris. He said when he got posted that be looking for him to be signed really soon. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Now, because somebody's gonna not sit there and wait, I'm
Nope.
gonna go out and I'm gonna say, okay, I already, if I'm Farhan, I've already said he's the best pitcher in the world. So now I got to pay him like the best pitcher in the world because I just opened my mouth, and I can't, get this guy to. If I get in a bidding war, I'm not going to win.
Nope.
Because there's going to be other people who are going to outclass me because frankly, I don't know. I just don't know if I can get people to sign here with my personality. So I've got to give them a lot of money. I'm just going to have to do it. Farhan just needs to go out and say, here's 225, 30 million times 7 is 210. So 50 more. Here's 32 million. What is that? 32 times 7. What does that come out to? 214? Or 224, There you go. Okay. 32.1 million, whatever. I'm going to pay him that, and I'm going to say 7 years, and we want you. Let's get it done. We're the San Francisco Giants. We've won 3 World Series titles in the last 14 years. The city is starving for another championship. And are you a guy that is fearful of, or are you risk adverse to being, taking a risk to being a leader of a championship organization in a city that is starving for winners and is starving? And we got the 49ers and we got the Warriors. This team is built around championships. We got a great Japanese culture in the city. Here, let's get it done. And if agent's gonna push him back and say we're gonna talk to other offers, and say, okay, this is our offer. We'll hold it for 24 hours, or 48 hours, whatever. You want to go talk to other people, and this is what you're going to do. This is our offer. We're now they've got a starting point. And if they, don't get jerked, just give them your best offer.
I tell you what, honestly, I think he's going to get more than 225, and he's probably going to go to a team that's already established and ready to win now. Giants are years away from winning now.
That's what
they don't have to be though. They don't have to be.
Well, what would put the Giants over the top to not over the top, but what give me like a few signings or trades that would put the Giants in a great position to succeed this year, next year.
Real quick.
All right.
Perfect example, real quick, Dan, before. And this is what Morrissey is talking about. It's kind of to your point, Bora. It says team execs tell me trade conversations for position players are more serious now than it was this time last year. The reason is buying clubs have more interest in players under club control than those available in free agency. So
Well,
there you
mostly
go.
free agents are older, but Yamamoto and Young Who, is that how you say it?
Lee
Young
supposedly
Who
he's not going to be posted until sometime after Thanksgiving.
All right. So here's what you do. If you really want to get to be, as you said, to be competitive this year, you go out and sign Yamamoto. Okay. Now you got Yamamoto, Harrison, and Webb. You got 3. Okay. You go out and you sign, say, Rhys Hoskins to play first base. You go out and get Cody Bellinger. You're going to have to overpay for these guys, but that's
really overpay them.
Yeah.
Hey,
I wouldn't go
Giants
after
only
Cody
got
Bellinger.
70 million.
I wouldn't.
Giants only got 70 million to use this offseason. That's it.
I think it's less than that, Eric.
I think it might. It's like
I think it's like 50 something million if you're
Really?
talking about going to the
I don't
200.
trust Cody Bellinger.
I don't either,
with Conforto
especially in this ballpark.
Not long term.
You know what? You're probably right because Bellinger in this ballpark, the ballpark, you're not going to attract left-handed free agents at all because they just it's balls go to you're not going to get Ohtani. You're not going to probably get Bellinger. You're probably right on that.
Kyle.
The one thing with Bellinger is he would
man.
solidify the center field position. He'd be an everyday center fielder.
So was a kid from Korea, but
yeah, I mean, who provides excellent defense, which is what they need. I think the defense issue is pretty easy to solve. It's just you got to stop platooning in the outfield.
Yes,
because with more playing time comes more experience, comes more reps, comes more comfortability. It's just once you get playing time in the outfield, you become more comfortable. You become a better defender. It's not rocket science. I mean, if you're being platooned every single day, you don't have a solid position in center, left, or right. If on Wednesday you're playing left, and Monday you're playing right, and Tuesday you're playing center, you're not going to be able to be comfortable, and you're always going to be moving around. So I think that issue is pretty easy to solve. But they need athletes. I just think they need athletes. Like Conforto, he's not an athlete.
No.
Haniger, not an athlete. Yaz, maybe. He's getting old and he has hamstring issues.
Yep.
Slater, not an athlete. Matos is an athlete. Meckler's an athlete. Cody Bellinger's an athlete. Elliot Ramos is an athlete. I mean, these guys are young, but they're also athletes. They're agile. They're faster. They're more athletic. They're more agile. It's just in order to become better at playing defense, you got to be more athletic, and that's the main thing. I think they got to be more athletic. And Farhan said that. He said that last year. He's probably said that 2 years in a row.
Here's
we
the
want
odds,
to get more athletic, but you just
Shohei.
got to do it.
Shohei odds just dropped earlier today. Dodgers plus 300, Mets plus 500, Giants plus 625. Don't buy it.
Nope.
Mariners plus 650, Rangers plus 750, Braves plus 850, Cubs 1400, Padres 1500, Yankees 1500, Red Sox 2000, the field 2000. I don't see how the Giants get it done unless they pay, if it's something like 15 to 20 million more per year than everybody else. I just don't see it. Brandon Crawford is going into free agency, hasn't announced a retirement. See what happens.
I saw a report that he says he wants to play.
I saw that, yeah, and then Baggerly just posted that 56 minutes ago, heard back from Brandon Crawford. He says he and his agent are gauging interest from teams, but he hasn't decided whether he will pursue playing next year, going into free agency for the first time with an open mind. I've
been wanting to trade for Luis Roberts since last year. I would rather trade for him and stick him in center than sign Bellinger to a free agent deal.
Yeah,
the thing is, though, he's kind of injury
part of their future.
And I mean, I don't know if the White Sox are going to give him up. Like if the White Sox are making him available, then by all means go ahead.
It'd have to be the right deal for sure.
He's young, and I mean it has to be the right deal. Yeah, But I mean, I don't know if the White Sox are going to deal him. That's the question.
Oh,
Can
wow.
you guys
Hey,
please? Oh, wait, real
look at
quick.
the
How in the hell do the Giants have spent this much money on this current roster? How?
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
This is a $55 million roster, and they're paying 160 or something.
You know why? Because of all Conforto, Stripling. Those are
Right.
two guys that
Oh,
are making. How much money are they making
It's
combined?
Disco. We just did it before you were out.
Yeah.
There's 65 million between 5 guys. It's Conforto, Haniger, Discofani, Stripling, and Cobb. Those 5 guys are like
that
60.
Cobb contract.
So listen to this. Today,
Could have traded them at the deadline.
I know.
we said it
I
last year.
know.
Could have got rid, and one of the reasons I said about trading them was to get rid of those contracts.
Yes.
They were average players. That's why I said to trade those guys and get some young talent in here.
And I thought Conforto was going to opt out, man. 18 million right there. That's another Jock Peterson fucking deal right there. Excuse my friend.
No, but I mean it's
man.
Farhan betting. He's not even making an estimated guess. He's just hoping that these players he signs to 2-year deals with a player opt out after the first year are gonna overperform. He's hoping that they will. But guess what? If they don't, then they're just gonna return for $18 million. I mean,
listen
come
to
on.
this, guys. The roster had 33 people on the 40-man. They just added activated Discofani, Cole Waits, and Thomas Sapucki. So now there's 3 more spots, and they have to leave the rest open for Rule 5 guys because they got to protect guys that could be poached from the, like last year.
Who are their Rule 5 guys this year?
I don't even know who they are this year, to be honest.
Is
What's
Ramos
up,
on there?
Sophie? Good to see you back, man.
No, Ramos is way past that.
Okay.
Can we cover the A's next year when baseball starts? At least they got young guys. I love talking about the young guys and the potential. It's just like
this incredible.
They come back with the same roster plus maybe 2 guys that they pick up on free.
Who do you think gets traded from the Giants to get somebody?
Conforto, Haniger.
You think Conforto gets traded even after?
Well, actually, no. I think Conforto is going to stay. I think Haniger is going to be traded.
I think one of our young pitchers is going to get traded.
I think so too.
I should have went to the GM meetings, man. I just everything this last couple of weeks just was a mess. But free agent third baseman Matt Chapman attended the GM meetings today. He spent several minutes chatting with Giants manager Bob Melvin, according to Andrew Baggerly.
Oh, here we go.
I hear a lot of noise about Chapman, so you're going to put him at third. Great glove.
How old is he?
31.
And he's projected to get like 6-7 years, I think.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
I wouldn't give him more than 4. You're going to have
I wouldn't give him more than 3.
You're going to have a Longoria situation again.
I know.
So that right there is one of the big problems. Is Farhan is known for not giving out long-term contracts, so he's almost forced to give these 2-year deals with an option. And since these players all want 6, 7, 8-year deals that he or ownership is not going to give, then that forces him to have to settle for the back end of the talent and getting 2-year deals. And as long as that cycle keeps going, they're never going to win.
Wow, Bruce Bochy today on Murph and Mac. Reaching out, following the World Series from Buster sent me a nice message. This is Bochy saying, as Bum did too. Man, I tell you, Timmy is one you don't hear from as much, and for him to send one, like I said, it was overwhelming. Wow,
that's awesome.
Timmy Lincecum.
Man,
those guys love Boch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm just scrolling down here through Twitter, just checking for some baseball news to see if there's anything there. But the one thing I was trying to look at was I saw it yesterday, was the Giants. I'll see. I think I know who I saw it from. So let me look it up. It was regarding their salaries that we were talking about, how much. So I'll pull it up here in just a minute. But the Giants have a lot of money coming back, and it's hamstringing them
Too bad they're going to shop at the dollar store for money with that money.
Current. Okay, if you're wondering. Okay, so where did that? Man, Jeff Young has been posting like crazy.
Yeah, he has. He's been all over the place.
Okay, so it looks like the Giants have over like $100 million in guaranteed contracts for 24, and then they've got arbitration, and they've got shoot, I can't find it. Anyway, it's up there, and they're, believe me, they would have rather have seen a couple of those guys not opt in.
2 of the 3 opted in.
two of the 3 opted in, and that was $30 million. So it really screws up your. I mean, that's what happens, man. That's why you don't put those. You get rid of those type of guys when you can.
They won't, though. You know, it's funny when you guys had Marty Lurie on last, and I remember Dan mentioning about the Giants going young, and Marty immediately pushed back and said, "Oh, the Giants just won't do that. They just won't rebuild." And there's very few guys that has the pulse of the team closer and better than Marty Lurie. So that right there just tells you, we hope that they, there's going to be some young guys coming on this spring training that are going to play well. And we're all going to go through the same thing and hoping, oh, man, this guy could really be something. It could be one of their draft picks from this last year. Who knows? But no, I mean, just the organization from top down, they just have a philosophy of certain players, and it's just going to be a veteran type team again. And it's going to be a struggle again. I don't see much changing. And this is what's frustrating about Melvin, who I think is a pretty good manager. Like, he's not going to make that much of a difference. If you have pretty much the same roster,
right,
a few different players, he's not going to magically, like, if Giants fans are out there thinking, oh, great, we got rid of Kapler, and here comes Melvin, we're going to be better. No, man, like, you need better talent.
Hey, it doesn't work that way. Bochy struggled with this team in 17 and 18 and 19 because they had no talent.
You can only get so much out of your players. I mean, this roster just isn't good. I mean, what's this team's ceiling realistically? Is it 85 wins at best?
That's if everything goes perfect.
That's if everything goes right, and which isn't going to happen. I mean, Bob Melvin's a good manager, but he's not going to be able to get everything right and get every little thing out of every little player.
All right, let's look at this. Let's look at the roster as it is right now, as of November 7th, 2023. First base, you've got Wade and Flores.
Trash.
Same as last year. Second base, you got Estrada. Shortstop, you got Luciano, possibly Schmidt. Third base, you got Schmidt or J.D. Davis. Outfield, it's the same. It's Haniger, Conforto, Slater, and Yaz.
That's what's just a killer.
And then your pitching staff is Webb, Harrison to start the season, Stripling, DeScalfani, maybe Beck.
I think I have a prediction, and I think Farhan's going to sign 1 to 2 major pitchers this offseason because I think
Sonny Gray, Jordan Montgomery.
I'd be fine with that. You know what? I'd be fine with that.
I would too.
Because those are solid to all-star caliber pitchers. And the one thing that I think Farhan did learn from this last offseason and from this last year is you need good pitchers, because you can't just have 2 good starters and then 3 to 4 to 5 just middle reliever inning pitchers that are just not good. Like DeScalfani, Wood, Beck, Stripling, Mania. Mania was good towards the end of the season, but for the majority of the season, he was just unplayable.
What's up, Shaw?
Get talent that adheres to your ballpark. It's a pitcher's ballpark, so get pitchers and get speed and defense, and you'll.
Can we look at something logically though? All right, let's look. Crawford was 36 this year.
Yes.
Okay. He had a really good year in 21. 22, he faltered. 23, he faltered more.
Mm-hmm.
Age.
Yes.
Okay. Yaz is going to be 31, 32. What's he going to be next year?
Let's take a look.
But he's been faltering for the last couple years.
With injuries, too.
He's 33 right now.
Oh, he's 33 now.
You sure? I don't
Yeah.
think he's that old.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
I wanted him gone 2 years ago.
Okay, so Yaz is going to be 33. He's faltering. Slater, he's going to be what, 31? Something like that, 32? These guys, okay, Stripling, he had a horrible year last year. How old is he going to be next year?
He's older. I think he's like, what, going to be 34 maybe? Somewhere in there?
Well,
Or maybe he isn't. Maybe not.
He's 33.
I
Oh,
haven't
there you
looked
go.
at these guys'
He's
roster.
33.
I'll just open up the roster and, I tried to detox the last couple months. I just haven't had anything to do with these guys.
He's Sclafani's 33.
Okay, so these guys are they're injury prone. Do you think they're gonna be better next
No.
year?
Alex Wood is
Exactly.
32.
The Giants think so.
This is what I'm talking about. What do they base it on? If they're if this is an analytical organization, why not look at the age factor and put the analytics together and see that injury prone guys that have bad years don't bounce back in their 30s generally and have better years the following?
This is the same organization who can't tell Acuna hit freaking third base. I mean, come on. They can't.
So where is this team going, guys?
It's going nowhere. They're going to be.
I'm telling
They're
you.
going to have 70 to 81 wins. That's
I've
the ballpark.
I've got them ranked right now in my first preseason, before the winter meetings and the free agencies and trades. I've got them ranked 13th out of 15 National League teams. I only have the Pirates and Rockies below them, and I think they could be they could finish 14th this year.
They could finish 15th.
15th. They could. They really could, because we don't know what Colorado. But I know Pittsburgh's getting better. I know Washington Nationals are getting better. I know Miami got better.
Yep.
I know that the Reds are getting better. I know that the Mets are going to be better. The Padres are going to be better. The Cardinals are going to be better. The Diamondbacks are getting better. They're youthful. They're not going to regress. They only won 84 games. This is an 87 to 90 win team. They're going to get better. The Dodgers and Braves are going to definitely be there. The Brewers are going to be, even if they don't improve, they're going to be better than the Giants, I think. I think the Brewers could regress a little bit without Greg Counsell. They could end up the Brewers could fall back to around 10th or 11th. 12th.
What's happening with Corbin Burns too? Because
in his final year,
he hasn't gotten an extension, right?
No.
He could be available. It's a local guy, St. Mary's, right?
That's going to be a huge cost. Huge.
Yeah.
How do you guys like this rotation? Webb, Jordan Montgomery, Sonny Gray, Kyle Harrison, and Mason Black.
That's good.
I like
two
that.
Young guys that are cheap. You got two free agents that are going to be expensive, and you got Webb, who's on a very, very team-friendly contract. Not overly over-the-top expensive, and that's pretty solid 1 through 5. Again, Harrison and Black are the wild cards. We got to see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, I like that
rotation. But is that enough money to try to go get to him? Because you're going to have to get at least 2 players and position players.
We're going to have to get a couple of position players.
I don't know where their big splash comes from this year when their money's tight. I mean, you're going to have to go well over $200 million to make some splashes. If you want to get Yamamoto, or if you want to, get Ohtani, forget it. I don't see it. But if you're going to try and get Yamamoto or young Hulu, I don't know how what the heck is Young Sue?
Young Huli, I think.
Young Huli. Yeah. So
True, Will.
I love it.
Yeah.
Ready to talk Niner football.
Yeah, so we've
let's
spent a lot of time on the Giants here, but there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and a lot of frustration, a lot of pent up anger that this team has. The way they've handled themselves, I just don't see. I don't see it. I really don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what they're going to do because they don't have any speed in the outfield that is good speed. I mean, it's, Yaz is okay, Slater's okay, but it's not.
They're never going to be going 100% though. That's the thing, because they've had hamstring injuries, so they're never going to be pushing themselves to 100%.
And Slater already had a weak arm, and it's going to be even more weak with he had elbow surgery on it. So
to Slater.
Yep.
Yeah. Finally.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, and then
together we will rehab.
The whole Cobb thing, it's like, okay, we're so desperate. We're signing a guy going to be 36 coming off of hip surgery. We're going to give him $10 million.
That ain't happening.
That's
so stupid, man. $10 million.
Here's something completely out of left field, but we're talking about a way to attract an everyday player with a trade. I'm probably going to get pushback on this, but what's new? I always get pushback on outrageous things that I suggest. Camilo Doval is a dominant closer, and he is under contract for a few more years.
Yep.
He would attract a everyday superstar player. Now, in order to do this, the Giants have to find somebody in their organization, because I've seen it done before, that was maybe an eighth inning guy that was pretty good. I don't know if Taylor Rogers, the lefty, not the sidearm righty, I think that's Taylor.
Yeah.
They have to see, could he be a closer? Or they got a kid from Arizona State. You know him, Dabdanovich.
RJ
Dabdanovich. I've seen that kid throw. All he needs is control. He has got some of the nastiest stuff in the organization.
Yep.
So if you want to be bold, you take an established closer that is right up there in saves. If you want to be aggressive and you say, okay, we're dangling Doval, teams are going to come calling. What do you want for him? And you can get an everyday center fielder or right fielder. Who's the guy that comes? Who's the guy that left the Giants that's with the Pirates? Center fielder.
Reynolds. Brian Reynolds.
Okay, call the Pirates and say, but they have a pretty good closer already. I'm just trying to think
Bednar
needs a closer.
Yeah, you got to look at teams that top competitive teams that
Texas.
the Rangers would love a guy like Doval.
Here's the thing, though. The Rangers are in win now mode, right? And I think the teams that are looking for that closer to really solidify their bullpen, a lot of them are in win now mode, and their World Series window is open. So I don't know if those teams would trade a major league caliber superstar.
No, but you could get what you could have gotten had you done it last year at the trade deadline.
That's where
you could have given up a Doval and a Cobb for a Evan Carter. What would you rather have?
Yep.
Evan Carter patrolling the outfield for the next 10? And then what you do is you do what the Braves did. Hey, this guy's a hitter. Okay, we're going to bypass some of his arbitration years and we're going to offer him,
And let me tell you, for me to suggest that, I love Doval. I know what special talent he can be, but it's a bold decision like that will possibly get you an everyday. Because how special can Doval be for a team that's not going to have a lot of leads? You know what I mean? How many saves? I mean, I know he got a lot of saves last year for an average team, but it's kind of a waste. Like, he would be great on a team that is up and coming. Who are those second tier teams, like the Twins, right? They made
Twins,
the playoffs.
The Reds. The Reds have one.
Okay, now who on the Twins roster would interest you to be on the Giants?
No, the Twins have one. They have Duran, yeah.
Is he?
Oh, dude's nasty. He makes Doval look like nothing.
Yeah,
he's pretty filthy. Who is in that second tier of teams as well? Who made the playoffs last year and kind of got knocked out early?
The Cardinals, maybe.
Who made the playoffs last year or the year before? What are we talking about?
The Mariners.
Who made the playoff last year? Who's Baltimore's closer?
They have
Bautista.
Bautista, yeah.
Batista.
Nasty too. Come on, guys, help me. The Phillies didn't have a great closer, did they? They had like 3 different people closing.
Yeah, the Phillies
the
may be,
problem was they had what's his name,
Kimbrel.
Kimbrel, who choked
He's
a lot of
tough.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so who on the Phillies would interest you within reason? I mean, I think Castellanos is pretty good, but I think you need more than him.
They're not going to trade
He's kind
any
of
of the.
old.
They're not going to.
Okay, so I want somebody that's like 25, 28 years, right?
Bryce
I don't
Stott.
think they would trade any.
Stott,
They wouldn't.
yeah.
They're not trading Stott. They're not.
I don't think they're going to trade any of their younger guys.
Who's the Cubs closer?
Good question. Who is it?
Yeah.
The Cubs. Now, who on the Cubs has an everyday player that we would like?
They're not.
I would
They don't
take
have any.
Horner
Nico Horner, yeah.
Horner,
as
yeah.
not just for.
Yeah, but they're probably going to
just
be.
him.
with
Horner-
That's
the
the thing,
council-
though. Like, I don't know if all these teams are going to be willing to trade an
I know.
everyday player.
I'm just throwing it out there.
No,
because
yeah, of course.
I like this. This is good exercise, though.
And
I
that's
like
the
it.
thing, though. I don't know if the Giants need an everyday superstar, right? I don't think they're going to get that from free agency. They might be able to trade for one, but I think it's going to have to come from the farm system. So what I would do is just I would stack the bullpen. I would sign Hader, and I would sign the Japanese guy from the A's who went to Baltimore, Fujinami. I would sign him. He's nasty. He has a really high walk rate, and he has control issues. If you can get that control in check, he was really good for Baltimore down the stretch. I don't know if he's under contract for next year, or if he's not, but I would try to trade or sign him. And I would sign Hader. Eighth and ninth inning, Doval and Hader. That's lights out. Come on, that's the best duo in the league.
That's a heck of a back end.
That's a heck of a back
I have
end.
a question.
If you have a lead in the 8th inning, it's pretty much game over.
Who's
So
who's that young left fielder for the Nationals that kind of came on late in the year?
Lane Thomas.
Lane Thomas.
Lane Thomas and
Centerfield.
DJ Abrams. Get me those 2 guys on the Giants.
You're not getting any of those guys.
For
Forget it.
Doval.
Nope.
No,
they're not
they're
trading.
building.
Doval and Harrison wouldn't get those 2 guys?
Nope. I don't think they.
Ooh,
I don't think they would
Is that a
trade any of
I'm
those
not trading
guys.
Lane Thomas and CJ Abrams. Those guys are that's their building blocks, man. The Nationals can mash. They really can hit that ball.
And who's their draft pick this
They
year?
need
that they got?
pitching. They got
They're just going to build it. They're building it. They rebuilt it, and they got rid of all their guys. They won the World Series. What did they do? They tore it down. They're rebuilding. They're going to
I would
be
love to know where Lane Thomas was
James
drafted.
Wood and Dylan Cruz coming up.
they're going to be
those
really
are
good.
legit top
Cubs
10,
did the
10
same
maybe
thing. They won the World Series in 2016. They went for a couple more years, realized, you know what, we got
Wasn't
to tear it
working.
down, and now they're back competitive. And Giants, they don't have a direction. You either got to go one or the other. You either got to go spend money and get some, everyday players like the Phillies have done in Schwarber and Castellanos and Harper, all free agents.
And Turner. Did you say Turner?
And Trey Turner, 4
Yeah.
guys in their lineup that are studs, and then the rest, Bohm and Stout or Stott are homegrown.
Marsh.
And Marsh was a trade.
Real Muto was a trade? No.
Yeah,
Oh, Yeah,
he was
it
a
was.
free agent.
Free
Was he a
agent.
free agent? I think free agent. So
Free agent.
you got 5, 6 guys. Hey, you got to have 6 everyday players, and I don't care who's pitching. They're in the lineup 145 games a year, and they get an off day every once in a while, but they play 100. Ideally they play 150 plus. What did Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts play this year? How many games? Look them up. Look it up, Boro. I'll bet you they played 160 games apiece.
Probably.
Each of them.
I know. You know who played every game? Simeon played every game this season.
And Marcus Simeon.
And that's the thing. It shouldn't be like, oh my God, he played every game, or oh my God, he played 150 games. That should be the norm. You should be able to play.
You should play close to
150
160 games. It's a baseball game.
Freddie Freeman, 161 games.
Okay, see, bingo.
161 games.
What did Mookie Betts play?
Mookie Betts,
I bet he's right there.
152.
Okay, there you
He
go.
was injured.
Both
That's the only reason why. Yep.
2 guys over 150. So look, the Giants have two guys, and I would call it more like 1.5 that play every day, and that's Estrada and Bailey, and neither one of them are built currently to play
162.
A catcher shouldn't play more than 125
exactly. Not
games.
A catcher. Right.
Okay, a catcher. But Estrada got injured, but I don't know if he's really their, besides forget the catching, he's their only, take the other 7 positions besides pitcher, okay, around the diamond, you got one guy that can play basically every day. And the more he played, he struggled a little bit, but that's it.
That's the thing as well. It's like Thairo Estrada is the one position player that the Giants have that's able to play every day, right? And even that, he's not a really good player. I don't know if he's an all-star caliber player, because the first half of the season he was really good.
I put Estrada in a tier of not quite all-star, just below. He could be an all-star player, but he's on the fringe. Okay, he's right there, but he's not a mega star. No. So, and your outfield, forget it. I don't even want to talk about it. They don't have any guys that,
Nope.
Just forget it. Okay. And then the rest of the infield, we don't know, because you know why? They didn't play him, and they had a chance to play him.
Exactly.
So we don't know. This is what we were suggesting all last year was play the young guys, play Luciano, play Schmidt, let him work the kinks out, let him struggle, and just your team sucks. You're not going to go to the playoffs. You don't have what it takes. How are you going to get to the playoffs? You have 2 starting pitchers. Think about it. Think about it, guys. You have 2 starting pitchers, and we got all these people. Oh, the openers are really working. Don't mess with success. The openers are, I'm going to write an article about the Giants openers, and don't you knock it, because they're 14-3 in their last 17 with openers. Okay, yeah. You got to go get it, guys. I'm a beat writer for the Giants, and I know what I'm talking about.
All year. You know who else is another interesting team?
Oh, man.
Toronto's got a hell of a lineup, but every year they can never go far in the playoffs.
They can't get it done. They can't get it done.
They don't have a lot of pitching other than Cosman. So, hey, call Toronto. One of their.
I was on Jeopardy, man. I know what I'm talking about.
George Springer, he'd look good in a Giants uniform.
He's like 35.
Yeah, he's old.
Is he 30? Is he that old?
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah.
I love their shortstop. Oh, God. Love that. Man, why can't the Giants get a guy like that?
They could. Luciano could be that guy.
He could.
Just play the guys. Oh, wait. Let's Farhan Zaidi here. Hold on 1 second. Let me do my.
You're using the wrong voice.
Hey, Gabe, it's me, Farhan. Marcos' his first game. We're up 5-3. You know what? I know the crowds are loving the fact that he's here, but I need Jock to pitch hit for him right now. And I know you like your job, and you remember, Gabe, the only reason you're working because I hired you. Otherwise, you'd be doing food reviews, Gabe. So, but Farhad, I could go ahead and do that, but Marco's our number 1 prospect, and he's pretty exciting. He's been on base tonight. Look what he's done. The crowd's going crazy. I don't care, Gabe. I just don't care. I'm looking at the stat sheet right here. He's facing a right-handed pitcher. And I don't care he's our number 1 draft pick. I didn't draft him. Put Jock in. I signed Jock. I need Jock to play. Okay, Farhan.
That's the dialogue.
That's the dialogue. So
I think we're ready for Niner football.
Yep.
Yeah, let's get into some Niner football.
Let's transition to 49.
Hey, real quick, let me ask the first question, because I didn't get a chance to ask you this during the trade deadline. And I remember you saying that during the trade deadline, I don't want to see them get a pass rusher. And what did the Niners go out and do? They went out and got another pass rusher. I mean, everyone's excited. Yeah, I'm not going to say that he's not good. He doesn't have talent. But was that the need? I'm asking you. I know it's been a week since it's happened, but I want to hear your take. I don't think that was the strength that the 49ers needed to address.
I felt they needed a corner more than they needed a pass rusher. What's so frustrating is the Niners have put so much money and draft picks and resources into their D line, like it's the only damn position on the team. And you figure they got Bosa, they got Hargrave, they got Armstead, they got Drake Jackson as a second-round pick. They picked up Gregory. It's like, God, they have, they got pretty good depth. And what do? They get another pass rusher.
Right.
Could he do something? Yeah. He's a talent. He's still coming back a little bit from his ACL, but he looks like he's not quite 100%. He's going to set the edge as a everybody's talking about him getting sacks because that's everybody's worried about.
He's had over 5. He's had 5 this year, right?
Yeah. They need their D-line to stop the run, man. Like nobody's talking about, like, they're getting smashed. And why are they getting smashed on the run? Is because they're all trying to get sacks and they're all rushing upfield. So it allows these and teams know this. They know Bosa's like, well, I got to justify $34 million a year. And the only way you justify $34 million is not getting tackles; it's getting sacks. What's he doing? Rushing upfield. Hargrave, same thing. He's a sack guy from Philly. Philly knew what they were doing. They're like, man, go ahead, take Hargrave. Like, he's good.
Yep.
I'm not giving him $21 million. We'll upgrade from him with Jalen Carter at $2 million a year. Like, that's how you do it. You get younger. They did what the Niners tried to do, trading DeForest Buckner.
Exactly.
Except the Eagles hit on their pick. They got Jalen Carter.
You get smack talk.
Javon Kinlaw when they could have drafted Tristan Wirfs a pick later. So they had the right idea. They just made the wrong pick. Yes, I was a little disappointed that they got another pass rusher. It could work out when it's all said and done. I wanted Jalen Johnson. I thought Jalen Johnson would move right into the starting lineup as a corner opposite of Ward, maybe even opposite of Lenore. Right now, Ward's not playing well. And if your secondary is not playing well, then it makes the pass rush have to get there even faster. So we'll see how it turns out. But I just hope that the Niners did a lot of self-evaluation on the bye. Like, really take a look at what they did good and what they did wrong. I'd like to see Jaylen Brown on the field a little bit.
Jameer
Brown,
Jair.
I mean, yeah, from Penn State. Yeah,
Penn State, 3rd round pick. He's got some speed at safety. Maybe they go 3 safeties. Maybe get Burks, the 3rd linebacker, out of the game. I don't see him making a lot of plays.
Yeah.
That way you protect Hufanga and Gibson, who are not great cover safeties. They could get closer to the box to help against the run, but the Niners, I thought that the Niners needed help more on offense than they did on defense, unless it was a cornerback. So we'll see. They keep signing all these scrub offensive lineman tackles. Like, that's the position they really needed to upgrade in the offseason and to get at the deadline. But,
Hey, Los, you got I can only see too good. Can you read that comment up there in the chat there? Can't see it very good. Go ahead, Los.
My fantasy football defense crushed Los 1st to 3rd. Yeah, congrats, man. Season ain't over. Season ain't over, dog. Like, it took like Tua and Tyreek to have their worst game of the year against Kansas City, a game that you figure is going to be 45-41. And you still beat me by what, 17, 18? See you in the playoffs. Be careful, because when I win, I talk a lot of shit.
Yeah, Los, you were talking about the run defense. I think that's I said something about that in the preseason. I don't think it's just the D linemen, though. I think it's the absence of Jimmy Ward and Azeez Al-Shaair. I think those 2 guys are really being missed right now. And those are 2 physical guys who bring it Those are tone setters. And I think Jimmy Ward was sort of the leader of the defense, right? Last year. He's a veteran. He has a voice. He's a mature adult, and he was really the heart. I'm not going to say he might have been the heart and soul of that defense, because
team leaders on the defense for sure. With
he was a major team leader. And I'm just going to say, from watching the game, there hasn't been a defensive masterclass this year yet. I'm not going to count week 1 because, I mean, you could say that, but I haven't seen 5 guys rush to the ball on a run. And they stop him for a 1-yard gain. I haven't seen that. It's usually like 2 or 3 guys are stopping the guy, and he gets 3 or 4 yards. I haven't seen that dominant defense show up, and I don't know if it's the scheme, if it's Steve Wilkes, if it's the D lineman, if it's the corners. I don't know what it is, but I haven't seen that dominant defense really take over a game yet. It's sort of been like, oh yeah, we're gonna let him back in the game, and we're gonna have the offense carry us. But I think it's really like they were the number 1 ranked defense last year, and they dominated teams. They dominated games by himself. The defense won them games last year, and the defense hasn't won them a game this year. They haven't been horrible, like a lot of people are saying. They're ranked, I think, in the middle of the pack. But I mean, look at their last 3 losses. They gave up
a lot of yards on the ground.
19 points though. 19 to Cleveland, 23 to Minnesota, right? 23 to Minnesota, and 31 to Cincinnati. But they haven't just all together. The defense hasn't taken them out of the game. It's held up enough for the offense to be able to win the game. And I think we're all expecting this dominant defense, this top 5 defense. It just might not be a top 5 defense. It might be a top 10 defense. And it might not be that dominant defense that we're used to and we're accustomed to.
It's the like offense got a lot of individual talent, but
exactly, yeah. But the offense needs to step up. The offense needs to step up. They've scored 17 points 3 games in a row, right? That's not okay. I mean, you still got Kittle, Ayuk, and CMC. All right, Debo being out shouldn't take away 20 plus points every week.
Yeah.
Hey, Will Martinez, how did you get 194 points last week? Unbelievable.
I'll tell you what, if anybody from the 49ers organization just happens to be listening, please do this. Play Bosa and Young right next to each other like Alden and Justin Smith. Let them work off of each other and run stunts. If you're vanilla and just play them at the bookends, it'll be okay. But if you put them next to each other once in a while, I don't care if it's that tackle. It could be Bosa, it could be Young. They're both really strong guys. And you let them work little stunts. I watch them rush, and it's so vanilla. It's, 4 guys just trying to beat 5 guys.
Yeah.
They're not winning, and they're not winning. If they really want to, take this bye to change things up, run some more stunts. You got Young and Bosa who know each other very well. They played together at Ohio State. And let them do a few stunts together. Just like, I swear, Justin and Alden Smith master that. They should watch film of those guys. Justin would curl around the end and take the tackle and the guard with him. And here came Alden right up the middle with those long-ass arms. Do it, man. Don't be predictable and vanilla and put them both at the ends. Let them work side by side by each other and see what happens. You got to change things up and do things different.
Yep. So should be an interesting week. We'll cover more later in the week as we get closer to Sunday about the game. We'll have our predictions. We'll cover that. Hey, for all you guys out there in our fantasy league, I had Bijan on the market. I was offered. Several of you guys were offered. Didn't get any bites. But you know what? I just read this in the Falcon report, and I think good things could be coming for Bijan. The Falcons have lost 3 out of the last 4 games and control of the NFC South. So fans are wondering how head coach Arthur Smith plans to respond. We're always looking to improve, Smith said. He's a clown. We look at ourselves as staff and what we're doing in practice. This is week to week. You lose these games like this. It's close. Yes, you have to do something to get over that hump. To get back into the win column, I don't know how drastic it would be in the season, but yes, we're always looking for anything that can help us. And then they say, one thing the Falcons could do is improve feed rookie running back Bijan Robinson. This past week, Algier led the team in carries, but it's Robinson that's shown when given opportunities. Robinson ranks second in the league among rushers with at least 90 carries at 5.1 yards per carry, while Algier is 23rd at 3.2 yards per carry. The team is more explosive when Atlanta feeds the number 8 overall pick in both the run and pass game. When the team made Robinson the highest drafted running back in 5 years, the expectation was he'd come in and be a star from day one. He's had limited touches, so there's a lot of fan uproar in Atlanta over the fact that Arthur Smith is basically giving the more shares to Algiers and he can't move the ball. So when you start getting a lot of flack like that and you're losing, you watch. I'll bet you Bijan becomes
He's got the talent. We'll see. They should.
Yeah. They're playing
Here's the thing,
Arizona
though.
this week.
Here's another quote from him today. His impact away from the ball can open things up.
Yeah. And people were laughing at that. Yeah, he's using him as decoy. You know what, Arthur? One thing will keep you in the league, and one thing will get you out of the league. Give the ball to your most talented players. Okay? Stephon Diggs could be a decoy too, but Josh Allen looks for him. It's like, you just get the ball to your best players. The decoy thing only works on certain games where
it works for certain plays.
It only works for certain types of games and plays when a team is totally focusing and double teaming a guy, triple teaming a guy. Like, hey, guess what? Kansas City shut down Tyreek the other day because they put 2-3 guys on him. That worked. It won't work. It wouldn't work the next time they played him, though, because they'll have a better game plan. And, they needed to adjust. But you got to have somebody else to beat you. And so I don't know what's going to happen over there in Atlanta, but
Matthew Brittingham, you bring up Shanahan. Let me go in on Shanahan because I have no problems being critical of him. Boral, what do you think of the idea of coming out of the bye week? The first time the Niners get the ball, they actually run a no-huddle offense.
Oh, my God.
I mean, here we go. Does Shanahan ever do something outside of the box? Not only does he run a no-huddle, how about this? Jesus Christ, can somebody please hire me on the Niners, please? Like, my ideas would freaking work. I'm sorry. Mason is your running back. And
Jordan Mason, yes, come on.
And Jennings is to the bench. McCaffrey is lined up in the slot to start the game. And Jordan Mason is your running back. So now you have a power running back, 230-pound running back. You got Feliciano at guard, who's a physical guard. So now they can run power. But in case you try to come up, you can go play action off of Mason. And now you got not Jennings, who's basically Mr. Third Down, Mr. 5-yard, 7-yard pattern. Now you got McCaffrey doing a little wiggle out of the slot. Please hire me, man.
Have we seen that this year yet? Have we seen McCaffrey line up in the slot? I don't think we've seen that.
I don't think so. They want to. Shanahan insists on lining him up as a running back, running him up the gut, taking all those hits and pounds, which is great. He does run great up the middle, and he can break it. But
you're going to get him killed. He's a great outside zone runner. He runs in space.
You have a very good running back in Mason. Establish your power. Get McCaffrey out in space with Debo and Ayuk. Now we have an offense. And Kittle, now we have an offense. But they won't listen to me. I'm just a mortgage guy. Go ahead, Shanahan. Line up McCaffrey. Go ahead and line up Jennings. Don't audible and don't run no huddle. Just do it the way you've been doing it, man. Whatever.
Yep.
That's just my suggestion. No huddle. Would love to see it. I think I'd get a freaking hard on if I saw them.
I would like to say a little. I would like to see a little more creativity.
I
from
would,
them.
man. I'd be like, oh my god, they're fucking doing something.
It's the same. It's the same plays every time, every day. I mean, have we seen a screen?
man.
Have we seen a screen? Have we seen a slant?
Nope.
That's
Not since
run from.
it's only Debo can run.
It's only Debo. When's the last time Ayuk caught a screen? I mean, in his rookie year, he caught a screen for a touchdown. He was running end arounds. Where's the creativity to your other weapons? I mean, it's just McCaffrey and Kittle that are running the end arounds, that are running the screens. Get some creativity. Get some other players involved. Get Jordan Mason involved in some screens. Get Kittle involved in some end arounds. He's not washed. Shanahan just doesn't use him. That's Kittle's issue. Shanahan doesn't use him because when he does use him, he produces.
It's funny how you talk about that.
I really would love somebody. I should text Larry.
There you go.
Please, somebody ask Kyle point blank, what did Jordan Mason do to earn the doghouse? What exactly did he do wrong? I don't understand. I just don't. If it's third and short, Dan, if it's third or fourth and short, are you handing the ball to Earl Campbell or are you handing the ball to Barry Sanders? Third and short, fourth and short.
Oh, no doubt. Earl Campbell, man.
Kyle Shanahan would rather give it to Barry Sanders, who is a great back, but not on short yardage when 10 to 11 guys are up at the line of scrimmage.
You got to go forward, not dancing.
Jeffrey's 5'10".
Get somebody that's a
5'10".
little more physical. Somebody please tell that stubborn-ass head coach of ours to use his 230-pound physical running back on short yardage.
You know, Kyle, you say he fumbled the ball.
In the day that Walsh would never use Ricky Patton or Lenville Elliott on short yardage, he used Johnny Davis. And Johnny Davis scored 8 to 9 touchdowns. That's all he did. The guy just came in when it was third or fourth and goal from the 1. And he always scored. They knew it was coming, but he was so big and strong. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Not our genius head coach.
Last week, Steve Young was on with Tolbert, how he does that every week. And you know what? He brought up a certain stat that the 49ers have not thrown one ball down the field 40-plus yards yet this season.
No,
he says that's something that needs to be done. He's like, you got to be able to do that.
They can't.
And
I don't think they have
becoming a very serious problem. This Shanahan record in the fourth quarter.
Oh, that's bad.
It's a big problem.
His teams can't play from behind. They just can't
feel comfortable. When the Niners are down, I just think they're going to lose. I just don't have confidence that they can't run a no huddle, and go fast. They're just trained to go one slow way and methodical and do their play action and do their motion offense. And that's it. That's it. And until Shanny changes, it's going to be this way. If they're front running, fine. Everything's gravy. Everything perfectly came together against Dallas. But when they get behind, man, and they just have to throw every down, it's not good. And Purdy, I think Purdy will get better. And from what I saw, he forced some balls. He had some checkdowns. I think Purdy may be reading a lot of clippings that he doesn't push the ball downfield and that he's a dump off guy. He's got to get over that. Just find the open guy and hit him. That's it. Because he's missing open guys trying to force it downfield. That's why he's throwing more picks than we're used to seeing. So Purdy's the least of my concern. I'm more worried about Shanahan and his stubbornness, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, you bring up a good point that he doesn't trust him as much. He hasn't done anything in games to have lost his trust. I mean, he hasn't fumbled. He hasn't dropped a ball from what I've seen. I mean, he just runs up the middle and he gets yards. I mean, what's the problem with that? He's averaging 6 yards a carry this year. It doesn't matter if the defense knows you're going to run. If you can't stop it, what's the problem?
Everybody knows Philadelphia is going to do their push and they can't stop it.
Exactly. They can't stop it. Philadelphia gains 3 to 4 yards every play. You can tell the defense we're running up the middle with Jordan Mason and he could still get 4 to 5 yards. I mean, Trent Williams was tipping plays last year. It's just like there's no reason to not play Jordan Mason. It gives McCaffrey a break, and it can reset your offense because it can open up the play action game. I mean, they haven't had success running the ball in the last 3 weeks because one, their offensive line sucks.
Outside zone.
It's the same runs. There's no creativity, and you're not setting up play action because you're not having success running the ball. So then it's just drop back passing, which is just that the team can't drop back and pass 40 times and win. I just don't. They can't do that. They're not that type of team. Purdy's not that type of quarterback. They need to run the ball early in the game, have success running the ball to open up the play action game. That's the true offense. And if they can't run the ball, then their offense just doesn't work.
Does Shanahan let Purdy audible, or he doesn't?
I don't know. That Shanahan didn't let Garoppolo audible. I know.
Here's a question. Los, the 49ers have an offensive coordinator, or is Kyle run everything?
Shanahan is the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That was a question
he's got no
last
one,
year.
So he's got no one he could bounce things off of. It's his way or no way.
I think when McDaniel was there, I think McDaniel may have somewhat challenged him. Like if he wanted to run a play, he might be on the headset. No, I don't think that would work. But now that McDaniel's gone, I think it's just all Shanahan. And
you know who it is too? It's Anthony Lynn because he's the assistant head coach.
It's a nice title, but is he really?
I don't know if he does anything, but that's the guy who would do something.
I don't think anybody challenges Shanahan. I think that's the problem. The owner doesn't. John Lynch doesn't. Adam Peters doesn't. The defensive coordinator sure as hell doesn't. Shanahan is just a bully in that organization. It's his way, and I just think he gets a little bit more of a pass from the media and from everybody than I think he should. I think he needs to be held accountable more. Like he's always had the excuse that, I had Nick Mullins. I had Jimmy Garoppolo. Now you got a pretty damn good quarterback. Now, where's the excuse going to be? You need to start taking the blame, Shanny. You're going to tell me you can't run reverses, you can't run slants because Debo's the only guy on the roster that can do that? That's bullshit. I saw Ray McLeod take a reverse and go 80 yards last year. He's faster than Debo. You're telling me he cannot run a reverse? You're telling me IU cannot run a slant? The whole offense gets vanilla and the playbook gets down to 3 pages when Debo is out? Is that what you're telling me? Because that's what I'm seeing on the field. I mean, I'm an action speaks louder than words type of guy. That's what I see. So Kyle Juszczyk doesn't even touch the ball. Highest paid.
How much money is he making this year?
He doesn't touch the ball. He's open all the time, but he never touches the ball.
He's a decoy. He makes $5 million this year.
Is he going to be a decoy? The whole defense knows. He could run downfield by himself on a wheel route. They'll be they're not throwing him the ball. He's a decoy. Sometimes you got to throw the ball to the decoy. My God,
you know what I think?
Welly caught a ball for the first time in 2 freaking years, man.
I think Kyle in the headset is okay, here's the play, and here's where you're gonna throw. I think that's what he does. Because I mean, he's that much of a micromanager that he's this play has to be perfect. It's going to be against this defense, and the ball is going to go here. I think that's exactly what happens in the headset. That's his arrogance. Yeah.
That's Shanahan's arrogance right there. And Matthew's saying that he watched Matt Ryan couldn't audible. Okay, so you're telling me an NFL quarterback, Matt Ryan's a 12, 13-year veteran. He comes up to the line of scrimmage. He has Shanahan's play in. He sees something that the defense has just shifted that is not going to work for this play. So you're telling me that Shanahan is such a dictator that if his quarterback sees, okay, Shanahan called this play because he thought the safety was going to be here, but right before the snap, the safety shifted over here, right to where the play's going. So you're telling me still run the play and you can't audible. That's crap. And if that's the case, that Shanahan does not allow audibles for a smart guy like Purdy, then he's full of shit. And yeah, I'm calling him out because every coach should be able to allow their quarterback to change the play. Hey, you're putting 11 guys on the line of scrimmage to stop the run. Nope, just run it up the middle. I mean, just that's arrogance and that's stubbornness. That's Shanahan's weakness. He's a very smart guy, but he is stubborn as you know what. Mm-hmm. And until he changes, I don't think we're going to get that 6th ring until he changes.
Yep. Guys, I got a jet. I got to start falling asleep.
Yeah, me
a
too.
little
I got a
earlier.
jet too. So we are out of here. Oh, comedy hour. Just look, I got a trade request. Comedy
Jimmy, the answer to that is they're too afraid to say anything against him. That's why. They'll say it off the record. As a matter of fact, go watch the interview that Richard Sherman had with Jimmy Ward. Or mentioned Jimmy Ward was a veteran. Kyle Shanahan didn't want to talk to him because he didn't want to go to the game for half the year. That's one of your veterans. So there's your coach saying, I'm not talking to you for the rest of the year. Go watch this Richard Sherman podcast. Telling you, man, Shanny's got a few more issues than people think. I'm not afraid to call him out.
Dan's more worried about fantasy football right now.
I know he's focused on his career.
I just don't understand some of these trade offers. Like Ayuk for Diggs? And you're going to throw in PJ Walker?
Hey, you got to have PJ Walker.
PJ Walker? What do I need somebody to clean the urinals or what? I mean,
shit, I'll take PJ Walker right now. I might not even have a quarterback. If just
PJ Walker doesn't even start.
I'm gonna try to play Eric like hockey handicap. Like
Watson's
that
starting.
one guy in the box, not even getting any points for me at quarterback. Tua's on a bye. Huntley's not playing. I'm gonna start Huntley. Maybe he'll get some mop-up time in the 4th quarter.
I got a deal for you, man.
Or you want to trade me how?
For who? You know what? I'll tell you. Alvin Kamara is available. He's available.
Okay.
Yeah,
you want
he's
Bijan
available.
back?
What are you looking for?
No, I don't want Bijan. No. I'm looking for another running back.
Another running back? Kamara is a pretty good running back.
Yeah, because I got my bye week. I have my whole team is on bye week 11. Dan, I might take Bijan for another person as well.
Oh,
another guy.
I might want to hang on to Bijan this week because they're playing Arizona.
How about Ingram with an eye?
Hey, I tried to drop Ingram and pick up another player after he played because it said I thought I would just forfeit his points because I hey, look, he played. I don't need the 0.8 points he contributed. I'm up by 60 over MF going into, and he's got, Breece Hall Monday night. I'm saying, I think I'm safe. Let me just jump the waiver wire and pick up somebody that's available before Sunday Night Football starts. And,
Aaron Rodgers, please come back because Zach Wilson is killing Garrett Wilson's production big time.
Rodgers ain't going to be back for 5 weeks if he's. I mean,
right when the playoffs start.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need Rodgers. I need Garrett Wilson.
I mean, do you really think? I think the Jets fall out of it, don't you?
What's their record? Are they 4?
They're 4-4. I think they fall out of it.
Did the Bills make the playoffs?
The Bills are on the fence. I mean, right now I think they'd be close.
I have Sam Howell in my other league, and I'm considering starting him this weekend over Herbert. Herbert's got no more weapons, man. Herbert lost me my game this week.
See, Sam Howell. I knew.
That's a good call because he struggled early, and me and you talked about it. Can he really be good with that shitty ass offensive line?
Mm-hmm.
But
they passed
moving him out of
70
the pocket and taking advantage of his legs.
They passed 70-something% of the time. They're just a pass first offense. That's the Eric Bieniemy effect.
I'm playing you this week, Bora.
Mm-hmm.
If I give you Bijan back, he might go crazy.
You could have got 250 to 1 odds on board to win the league in Vegas when he was 0-7.
250. Yep. Try $1 million to 1. This guy's
2 wins
in
a row. 2 wins in a row.
He's not going anywhere.
Was it the top 6 make the playoffs?
Yeah.
I mean,
He'd have to win out.
You never
Anything
know.
can happen.
I mean, it could. PJ Walker and Aiden O'Connell are available. Will Mark, do you have both those guys?
Yeah, I'm not picking up.
Wait a minute.
For 1 week.
How do you put clowns in our from our? You have Aiden O'Connell. Wait, you don't, Will.
Hey, Los,
love
one
it.
thing we never got into is your opinion on what the Niners did, firing their head coach and GM,
Who?
the Raiders.
Oh,
Oh,
you
the
said
Raiders.
Niners.
Oh, did I say that? My bad. The Raiders.
Yeah. I'm not a big Josh McDaniels fan.
Did you see that report that came out where they were in the team meeting and
Yeah.
that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Will Martinez has PJ Walker.
Don't be surprised if Jim Harbaugh is the Raiders coach next year.
Oh,
Yeah, I
he does
heard
I
have
think it's
O'Connell.
it's between the Raiders or the Bears
Wait a minute. You got Heineke.
because he was the quarterback for
Stroud?
the Bears.
What are you
Yeah.
running a quarterback camp, Will? He's got 4 quarterbacks. I thought Eric was bad with 4 quarterbacks.
I'm only down to
You're
one
at
backup
5.
now.
That's why I'm not crazy about the 2 quarterbacks.
He's got 4 quarterbacks, and they're horrible quarterbacks, and he still scored 194 points. That just tells you right there, guys. It's all luck. This is luck. Okay, there's some skill.
30% skill, 70% luck.
This is not the way I don't think fantasy football should be played. I think it should be like a
One
player
quarterback.
against player. Something there should be a different. I know there's different methods out there,
Go back to having a kicker.
but he got 194 points with 4 like quarterbacks that, you know what? Let me just go on my 1-minute rant about quarterbacks. Quarterback's the most important position in the NFL. In football, you start playing quarterback at like 7 in Pop Warner. There's teams, the whole, years ago, there was this thing that there was very few African American quarterbacks. And it was like, what the heck? It's like this stupid thing where, you can't have a black quarterback. But they're the best athletes on the field. They're faster. They're just, most of them, they're very athletic. And now we're seeing a plethora of great quarterbacks that happen to be African American. Okay. So now we got all these quarterbacks, college, high school. How come there's only like 10 good quarterbacks in the entire NFL? The rest just are awful. How can there be all these quarterbacks that everybody's, it's the top paid position. Everybody's training to be the quarterback, and there's nobody. Can you explain why there's only like 10 serviceable good quarterbacks in the NFL? Look at the backup quarterbacks that are on teams. Look at what happens when a backup quarterback comes in to fantasy football. Terrible defenses get 20 points. They get all these sacks, and
Quarterbacks are scouted so poorly nowadays. How do you think the Panthers feel about taking Bryce Young over CJ Stroud right now?
I think that owner feels horrible because Frank Wright, I think, was in love with CJ Stroud, and he wanted them to draft CJ. No, he's their quarterback. He's their coach, right?
Yep.
Frank Wright. Yeah, he wanted CJ Stroud badly. The reports were coming out.
So the owner wanted Bryce Young.
The owner wanted Bryce Young, and the owner overruled the coach. And
Let the coaches and the GMs do their job.
Yep.
Stay out of it.
yeah, I just am just stunned at how bad the quarterback play is.
How do you think the Giants feel about giving Daniel Jones 160 million?
Oh, now he's out. And
that's what they deserve.
He did
Really,
that contract I laughed.
They got Danny DeVito or something now, quarterback.
Danny DeVito.
To the co-star of Twins.
Yeah, whatever the guy's. I just don't. But seriously, I don't get it. You got great receivers. There's receivers throughout the league. How come you can't find what quarterbacks maybe there's 12 that are decent, but there's only like 4 or 5 that are like stars. Allen, Mahomes.
Baker Mayfield is playing for a contract.
He's no
Dak
good.
Prescott is all of a sudden relevant again because he has one good game. It's so hilarious watching these national shows. Like when Dak Prescott played against the Niners, he was horrible. Not even a top 10 quarterback. Now all of a sudden he's a top 5 quarterback. It's hilarious. It's week to week, man.
Hey, Dan, read that.
Yeah, bring him on.
Yeah.
You know him. Unbelievable how many guys are projected to be great quarterbacks, and then we're already hearing about Mays and out of North Carolina.
USC wants part ownership.
Yeah, Caleb, forget it, Caleb.
I think that was a joke report because I don't even know if you're allowed to be part owner while you're playing.
Okay, you got all these guys, but you know what? Remember the last great draft class of 20? It was 5 quarterbacks. It was Trevor Lawrence, it was Zach Wilson, it was Trey Lance, Mac Jones, and Justin Fields. There's one quarterback that's worth anything, and that's Trevor Lawrence. And everybody, oh man, this is the best quarterback class ever. And then some people said, well, the history shows 3 or 4 of them are going to flop. Who are they going to be? Well, Mac Jones stinks. Zach Wilson sucks.
I really thought he was going to be pretty good.
Justin Fields pretty much stinks. And we don't know about Trey Lance. So far, he's
started like 4 games. So.
Yeah, we don't know. And
what do you think of Will Levi? You think he will be good at some point?
Levis? Yeah, I like him. I think his arm talent's really nice.
Man, yeah. He had a little bit of a come down last week, but I think he will be good.
Yeah, I think so too. He slipped in the draft for I don't know why, but he was projected to go top 15. I think second round. Yeah.
All right, everybody, we're out of here.
All right, boys.
Let's stay in the green room real quick, guys. Just gotta wrap up a team meeting. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. I don't know when we'll be back. Probably Saturday night.
I'm gonna go on tomorrow night around 9 o'clock.
Cool. I'll be watching you with a patch in my eye.
You go for your surgery, man.
I got eye surgery tomorrow.
Make sure it's black, so we'll think you're a Raider fan now.
There we go.
There you go.
Probably, I guess it'll be white. Who knows? Anyway, I was thinking it's just probably cotton and something. Who knows what they put in there? But
hit that like button, subscribe, and
hit that like, subscribe button. Appreciate
people.
it, everybody. You guys have a great one. See you Saturday night. Check out Eric tomorrow night. Military History Chronicles. Military Chronicles. Military History Chronicles. There you go.
Yep.
Check it out. Him and Will B. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that so much. And see you Saturday night.
Woo!